So today I took the hardest challenge ever in Hollow Knight Silksong and combined it with Steel Soul mode. In today's video we are going to beat Hollow Knight Silksong, double everything in Steel Soul mode. This means if I die I have to restart everything. I'm on a challenge to complete a bunch of Hollow Knight Silksong challenges before I can hit 1,000 subscribers, and if I can't do that I have to beat the game without getting hit. So make sure to drop a like and subscribe. Bruh. What's up, man? You having a good day? So I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty scared of going into this challenge. I do have a save at some bosses that I struggled with before if you watched my last video. But anyways, we rested at this bench over here. Then now we're gonna fight the first two bosses. The Moss Mother fight hit hard right from the start, especially with two of them jumping around non-stop. The arena turned into a mess fast, with both slamming down and covering almost every bit of space. There was barely a second to breathe, and even dodging felt risky because one was already waiting to attack me while the other was just attacking me already. Their jumps and lunges lined up in a way that made it easy to get cornered if I didn't move too early. Once the first one fell, the fight still stayed tense, but the space cleared up. It finally felt like I could breathe again. I eliminated both of them and now they're both gone. Then we jumped up to over here and we enter like the bone bottom area. This is like the first section we see with a lot of stores. Basically this is like the rock area with a lot of skulls and a lot of bones. You get it? It's called Bone Bottom. Basically, my goal throughout this area was just trying to get through this area, and I met Chakra over here. She's like the merchant that sells the maps, the pins, you know, all that good stuff. We also entered Amal's home. I came to this area to go to this section over here, which I binded. This is a power-up. Then I finally learned the Silk Spear. Let's go! Now we're gonna take on these two beastie bad boys. The Bell Beast fight was chaos from the start. With two of them, the ground never stayed still, and the bells dropping from above made the whole room feel packed. Every time one of them jumped or slammed, the other would follow up right after, so I had to keep moving just to stay out of the way. It was easy to get stuck in between them if I moved too late, and that's exactly what happened. I got pinned after a jump and took a hit I could never recover from. Before I knew it, I was done. One small mistake was all it took to lose everything. Now, even though I did die at the start, obviously it wasn't too bad since it was just like right there. It was only the second boss. Anyways, we finally made it back here, and now we're gonna beat these guys. I promise you we're gonna beat them. Coming back to the Bell Beast after that death felt personal. I knew exactly what went wrong last time. The second the fight started, I stayed patient, kept my distance, and let them make the first move. When one slammed down, I went in for a couple clean hits and backed out before the other one landed. Everything still felt hectic in this fight pretty much, but I finally landed the last and final hit.
You are done.
After defeating the Bell Beast, we went into like the silk web thing. This happens every single time you defeat a boss with related to silk. I'm pretty sure I say that every single video, but yeah. Then we enter like the deep docks area. This is like the fire. I just made my way across this, entering like half of the far fields and making it into this power up section, and I binded and I finally learned the dash technique. Now everything is 10 times faster. And now we're gonna put Bell to The Lace fight in the deep docks was the real test of patience and timing. She moves fast, and with two of them in Steel Soul, the arena felt like it was closing in on me. Lace has a few moves that are easy to spot once you know what to look for. She'll crouch and lean forward before slashing twice, or she might jump up and come down at a certain angle, aiming to hit you. If she lifts her needle to her face, she's about to lunge across the room. I had to stay calm and wait for her to drop that stance before going in. This fight wasn't too hard, but with two Laces and no room for mistakes, it felt like one wrong move could end it all. I farmed some more rosaries and bought this mask shard. Then I did this pathway thing where I went to Warmways and I also got another mask shard, and then I also went to Farfields and promised this dude a wish that I actually will keep.
Someone cooked here.
But I also got the Dripster's cloak, and now I'm about to glide down and beat these two. The fourth chorus fight in Steel Soul with two of them was total chaos from the moment it started. The arena felt like it was closing in on every attack, and the two bosses kept moving and striking in ways that never stopped for a second. Their slam attack shook the ground and forced me to keep constant movement. And in my opinion, I thought I was getting really close to being able to no-hit this boss, and then I didn't end up dying here. But to be honest, I'm gonna tell you guys something. I feel like this death isn't my fault. Like, I understand with two bosses I'm already at a disadvantage, but I could do something about it. If I'm skilled enough, I could beat them. I'm at a disadvantage and I can't do anything about it. There was no platforms for me to go to. I was just forced to die. You know, even the Great Swifty official also loses. But this time, finally, I came back after going through all that again, and I dropped the bomb on them and got a double kill. Literally, they started creaming out of their eyes. We also entered this Greymore area, but this time I went back to Warmways. I did this pathway thing where I'm able to go from all the way to Warmways, enter Shellwood. I'm able to go through Bellheart as well, but obviously I enter Shellwood because I have a few objectives I need to do here. I know I sound like an FBI agent, I know.
Oh brother, this guy's
But now we're about to take on two sister Splinters at the same time. The Sister Splinter fight in Steel Soul with double bosses was brutal. She hangs from the ceiling, slamming down with claws and summoning sharp vines that make the arena feel tiny. When she falls, her body stays dangerous, so even if she's stunned, touching her hurts. She also calls in minions, the Splinter barks, which can overwhelm you if you're not careful. In Steel Soul, one mistake means death, and with two of them, it felt like there was no safe spot. I had to keep moving, dodging her attacks, and trying to find moments to strike. The vines blocked my path, and the minions made it hard to focus on her. I used my Silk Spear to clear some space and take out the minions from a distance, but it wasn't enough. Eventually, I got caught in a corner, but I also made it out and defeated them with my needle. And man, that light was bright. After defeating the Sister Splinters, we made it to this power-up section, which I binded, and I finally learned the cling grip. Now I'll be able to wall climb, and we also entered the Hunter's March area. I went to go fight the Savage Beastflies. The reason why I wanted to fight these guys is because if I do beat them and I do another certain thing, I end up getting a quest that unlocks another mask shard, so I obviously went back here. These guys aren't the hardest boss. Usually with one of them, it's incredibly easy, but with two, it's not that difficult either. They just basically do the same moves. They slam down. I defeated them. I went inside over here and also unlocked the crest of the beast. This isn't my favorite crest, but I just got it. Then I went up this whirlpool thing over here, just doing some more parkour, and I unlocked this bench thing, and then I talked to this lady and bought the fractured mask. The fractured mask is basically like a shield for the last mask. Here we are again. Here we are again.
It's time to do.
I just want to say, if this boss was optional, I would skip this guy in a heartbeat. The Widow fight in Steel Soul with double bosses was a real test of patience and precision. Located in Bellheart, Widow is a fast moving boss that can overwhelm you if you're not careful. She has a few key attacks, a quick dash, a spinning move, and summoning bells that fall from above. The arena is small, and with two of them, it felt cramped and chaotic. I got greedy once trying to land a few extra hits, and that's when I made a huge mistake. One of the Widows dashed at me, and I didn't even have enough time to react. It was a tough fight, and I hate. Now, before stepping into the actual fight again, I literally have a save file right at Widow to practice my moves and practice all the dodges. I did that a few more times before going back in, then now we're gonna put it to the real test. This is for all the pain that they made me suffer. Look, it's even two of me. When have you ever said it's two? And I finally learned the ability to sing. Then we enter like another silk web, and this is the best feeling ever. After defeating Widow, I entered this. This is like a confirmation that I beat him. I rested at the bench. Then this is where I made my way all the way back to Greymoor into like the Chapel of the Reaper. We went into like another wave of mini bosses. This one isn't too hard. Their clippers are pretty dangerous, but I defeated all of them, defeated these lobsters. Then I did some more parkour going up here, sticking my needle inside this thing, and I finally learned the best crest. Then we also enter like the mist area. This is where we need to find 3 birds, sing them a song. I did that, and the birds led me to the exhaust organ. The phantom fight in Steel Soul with 2 of them was pure chaos from the start. The room was crowded and mist, and the 2 phantoms moved fast, dashing across the arena and swinging their needles in patterns that left almost no space. One would lunge while the other would jump back, and every time I tried to go in for a hit, one of them would change directions and force me to dodge again. They used their parry stance to block attacks and punish any mistakes, so I had to be careful with any swing. I had to stay patient, watching both at once and make sure every move counted, slowly chipping them down until the final hit landed. Then I learned the parry technique, and I also learned it again. Yeah man, I learned. Then we entered Act 2, the Citadel of the Song. We spoke to Lace, and as soon as she ran away, I also ran away before her goons could catch me. They are very powerful, and I do not want to deal with them. I also obtained the white key that I'm going to need for an elevator later, and now we're going to fight the Cogwork Dancers. We're going to fight 4 of them. There were 4 of them together, which made the arena feel packed and the timing tight. They always telegraphed their moves with thin silk lines that showed where they would go into strike, so I had to watch the lines more than the bosses themselves. One attack they did, both would dash from opposite ends following the lines, and when they landed, one of them would spin and slash outward. If I wasn't ready, I got clipped. Another attack, they'd vanish, light beams would appear across the floor, and then they'd strike along the beams. Staying out of the beams was the only safe thing. But finally, I landed a last hit when they were making love, and I finally defeated both of them. After that, this thing started rotating, and these 3 dudes popped in. This is when I went back to Bellheart and promised a wish, so I had to beat the Savage Beastfly once again. There was 2 of them. This time I fought them in the Farfields area where the 4th tourist fight was. I defeated them, and after I defeated them, I went back to Bellheart and claimed another mask. This time I used the white key that I obtained from earlier, and we obviously went down the elevator and we entered like the whiteboard area slash underworks, did some more parkour going along this pathway, resting at benches, and we finally made it to this power up section which I binded, and I learned the claw line. Now I'm able to zip through strings. We then entered Mount Faye, this is like the snow area. This is where you obtain the flay down cloak, basically like the double jump. I always had to stay in these safe spots where the ice wouldn't hit me, but we finally made it to the end section which I binded, and I finally learned the flay down cloak. I also earned another mask from Farfields. Then I also went back to Shellwood doing some more parkour, and I got another mask. Then I went back to Blasted Step this time, doing some more parkour, double jumping, going along this pathway, and I finally earned another mask. I know I say that like a lot. Then I went into another wave of mini bosses. This one was probably the most annoying one besides the high halls one. This one is just like robots popping up. They weren't too hard. After I defeated them, I got another mask once again. I promised another wish in the Citadel area where I had to speak to someone, and then I went to Whispering Vaults and the mini wave boss, another one. This one wasn't too hard. I went down over here doing some more parkour in the Whispering Vault. The reason why I was also here is to get, you guessed it, another mask. After I got another mask, I earned a key of apostate. I'm sorry, I don't know how to say that, but this is where I went back to the Whispering Vaults and used the key to get the final mask that I needed. Next, we entered like the high halls area. This area is just more, it's mainly like claw line zip through strings. We just had to zip through strings. I have one objective in this, and I have to get to Conductor's Melody. So obviously, we went along this pathway and we entered the hardest wave of mini bosses ever. That wave before the Conductor's Melody doesn't give you a single break. The second you step into that room, enemies starts rushing from every direction. Flyers come in swinging, jumpers leap from the walls, and a few heavy ones that push straight through the middle trying to corner you. It's one of those fights that doesn't look bad at first, but after a few seconds the chaos starts to pile up. I made a save right at the start of it so I could practice it over and over again. I wasn't trying to rush it, I just wanted it perfect. Basically, my strategy was just sticking to the wall until they finally all disappeared, but as soon as the door opened, I defeated one of them. I didn't take a single chance to hesitate. I went straight through that door and went in. I wanted to avoid all of that.
Let's go!
But after that, I spoke to this guy over here and learned the Conductor's Melody. Then I also got the Sacred Cylinder from Whispering Vaults, and I also sang it to this guy and learned the Vault Keeper's Melody. Now I only need one melody left. Basically, we entered like the Cogwork core side, aka the Path of Pain. I know I say that every single video, but I really do mean it. Every single jump in this area needs to be perfect, but I finally made it up, and we had to do this music puzzle, so I did all 4 of them, and then they all went down, and I finally jumped on this thing, sang my song, they all really liked it, and I learned the Architect's Melody. Now we sing it to these 3 dudes that popped up. We go up the elevator, and now we're about to take down Lace. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I had a lot of confidence in this fight since I did this fight a lot of times. It was pretty difficult, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I was getting my ass clapped, but I also did some clapping back. Coming back after that death, I knew I had to stay sharp this time. The second Lace fight hits hard, and with 2 of them moving around, it never stops for a second. Both dashing fast, their swings crossing each other, and if you miss one dodge, you're getting hit twice. Once I got into that rhythm, everything started to line up. One went down and the other one followed, and that comeback felt way better than any clean run. I defeated them, and I finally take my throne. Next up, we enter like the silk web thing, and we do have one more boss to take down, but I'm pretty sure I have a lot of confidence in this fight. It's not that hard compared to the Lace one. I think Grandmother Silk is easier. Even with 2 of them, I think it's still easier than Lace.
Let's do this.
Going to fight 2 Grandmother Silk and Steel Soul was non-stop from the start. Both of them float above the arena, throwing needles and patterns, some straight down, some across, and sometimes both at the same time. If you stay still for even a second, you can get hit, so moving constantly is the only way to survive. They also swing with their claws, covering big parts of the arena, and their needles can follow you, so you have to watch both at once. The floor sometimes lights up with silk lines before a big attack, and getting caught in them takes a lot of health, so I had to jump, dash, and stay near the open spaces whenever possible. Watching both bosses at the same time is tricky because their attacks don't line up. One will throw needles while the other swipes, and then they both will slam at the same time. I had to stay calm, dodge carefully, and hit only when it was completely safe. Slowly, I got in hits on one while keeping the other away, then switched focus to the second, keeping the rhythm going so I didn't get trapped. This fight felt long because there's always something coming at you, and one wrong move could cost everything. By the end, after keeping track of all the needles and swings, I got the courage to finally take them down both, and it felt solid knowing I managed to control the whole fight without dying once. And yeah, we have fell through it. But anyways, that is Hollow Knight Silksong double everything in Steel Soul mode. I hope you guys enjoyed. This was a very hard challenge, so if you could leave a like and subscribe, that would mean the world to me. Let me know if you guys want more challenges like this in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.